Hi guys, welcome to Monitoring and Evaluation Made Simple. I'm your host, Coach Alexander. I'm so glad that you've joined me today because we'll be continuing on our quest to review the Sustainable Development Goals report done by the United Nations. We did SDG 1 and 2 and we reviewed the results from there. So today we're going to be looking at the results from SDG 3, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. If you're here for the first time, please subscribe to this channel and please take advantage of the timestamps in the description below because this is a long video. So I hope you're going to enjoy this video and I'm looking forward to seeing what is here in this section. And mind you, every time we're reviewing this report section by section, it's my first time reading the section. Okay, don't think I've read this before. This is my first time. Okay, so now let's go straight to understanding what the results were. By the way, in case you think I'm not in the reading the actual report, this is the report, the Sustainable Development Goals Report 2020. You can find it in the description below, or just simply Google the internet and you'll find it. Okay, so let's get started. Let's try to review and understand what was achieved. Okay, so the opening paragraph says, until the end of 2019, advances in many areas of health continued, but the rate of progress was not sufficient to meet most Goal 3 targets. The COVID-19 pandemic is throwing progress even further off track. The rapid increase in COVID-19 cases is causing a significant loss of life and overwhelming many health systems. Essential health services and life-saving interventions are being disrupted. People are unable or afraid to go to healthcare facilities to seek services such as checkups, vaccinations, and even urgent medical care. This could have potentially fatal consequences and threatens to reverse decades of improvement in health outcomes. In many countries, the outbreak is also triggering an alarm in terms of preparedness for health emergencies and immunization services. This is particularly true for countries where health systems are unable to cope with the surging demand due to the lack of healthcare workers, medical equipment, and supplies. Okay, so basically, we can already see that the COVID-19 has negatively impacted this strategic objective, good health and well-being. So what they're saying is some of the highlights, what I'm already seeing is that one, it's not, things are not going according to plan. They're saying it's not sufficient. Then secondly, they're saying here that this could have potentially fatal consequences and threatens to reverse decades of improvements in health outcomes. So maybe a bit of a background. We all know that the COVID-19 pandemic has hit everyone hard, but for countries that have weak healthcare systems, I'm telling you, and I'm sure with those with weak healthcare systems and those who have been feeling the impact of the COVID-19, definitely there is a strain. Okay, so already we can see that this has the potential to reverse the decades of improvement in health outcomes. Okay, so remember we're looking at this SDG 3, good health and well-being, and already we are seeing that the UN are saying they are not really, the rate of progress is not sufficient. So now let's go to the next section. Okay, so it says COVID-19 could reverse years of progress reducing maternal and child death unless urgent action is taken. So it says progress has been made in maternal health. The maternal mortality ratio fell by 38% between 2000 and 2017 from 342 deaths to 211 deaths per 100,000 live births. On average, the global maternal mortality ratio declined. Still, this is less than half of the 6.4% annual rate needed to achieve the global target of 70 maternal deaths per 100,000 live births by 2030. Every day in 2017, approximately 810 women died from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth. Sub-Saharan Africa and Southern Asia account for about 86% of maternal deaths globally. The world has also made tremendous strides in reducing child mortality over the past 2 decades. The global under 5 mortality rate fell from 76 deaths per in 2000 to 42 in 2015 and to 39 in 2018. Okay, the global neonatal mortality rate fell from 31 deaths. Okay, so what we're seeing here actually is an improvement, Actually, what we're seeing here is, there's a reducing child mortality. So they're saying from 76 in 2000 to 39 in 2018. That's a good job. And mind you, when they say child mortality, they're simply talking about the children that are born, that die during childbirth. Okay, I mean that's how I understand it from a layman's perspective. Okay, so they're saying despite the progress, some 5.3 million children died before reaching their fifth birthday in 2018 alone. Almost half of those deaths, or 2.5, occurred within the first 28 days of life. Okay, so that is not good. I mean, because out of these 39, they are saying that only 50% live for a month, okay, which isn't good, okay. So, but I mean, it looks like they are trying their best, okay. What is interesting is that most of these cases are from Sub-Saharan Africa and Southern Asia. Okay, so here they're saying as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to erode health systems, disrupt routine health services, and constrain access to nutritious diets and essential nutritious services, hundreds of thousands of additional under 5 deaths are expected in 2020, along with tens of thousands of additional maternal deaths. Okay, according to a recent study, if routine healthcare is disrupted and access to food is decreased, the increase in child and maternal deaths could be devastating. 118 low and middle income countries could see an increase of 9.8% to 44.8% in wow, that is bad. Okay, so definitely serious problem here, guys. Very serious problem, very big problem. And all because again of Mr. COVID-19 pandemic. We can't say much. And I personally feel that vaccine should come quickly, but hopefully it won't just be a vaccine for the rich nations. It will easily be distributed at the same time, at the same pace to every country around the world, including the poor nations. Okay, so they're saying the rate of unintended pregnancies could sour if continuity in family planning, supplies, and services is not insured. Okay, so what do we understand about unintended pregnancies? Well, if they're unintended, that could have a huge problem, of course, to the family because, I mean, if you don't plan for a child, that can have an economic implication. Okay, so I think maybe read this on your own time if you have the time to. Let's go to the next subsection. The COVID-19 crisis has interrupted childhood immunization efforts globally with potentially deadly consequences. Immunization is widely recognized as one of the world's most successful and cost-effective health intervention, saving millions of lives. Coverage of the required 3 doses of diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis vaccine increased from 72% to 86% in 2018. Okay, coverage of the second dose of measles containing vaccine increased from 19% to 69% in 2018. That year, an estimated 19.4 million did not receive these essential during the first year of life, putting them at serious risk of potentially fatal diseases. Moreover, global coverage of pneumococcal conjugate vaccine, which has the potential to significantly reduce pneumonia, another major killer of children, has yet to reach 50%. The COVID-19 crisis has interrupted child immunization efforts. Since March 2020, routine childhood immunization services has been disrupted on a scale not since the inception of expanded program on immunization in the 1970s. More than half of the 129 countries where data are available reported moderate to severe disruptions of a total suspension of vaccination services during March and April 2020. Okay, so we can, I mean, it's really sad again, and we can't really say much because the COVID 19 has really disrupted health systems, it has interrupted immunizations. So now, these vaccines, guys, as you may be all well aware, are really important, especially for the children. You know, these pandemics like measles were really hit people bad, and when that vaccine came out, it really did change things. Okay, so one thing I can see is that progress was actually being made. In conclusion, I can see, because I think this should be the last section. If I scroll down, okay, maybe there's, oh wow, there's still more information. This is, oh wow. Okay, there's still more information in this section, guys. Like I said, I haven't read this already, but there's still more information. Okay, okay. So let's look at this section. The world is falling short on its promise of universal healthcare coverage by 2030. Okay, so universal healthcare coverage means that all people have access to the health services they need when and where they need them without financial hardship. It includes the full range of essential health services. Okay, the number of people covered by essential health services in 2017 was estimated to be between 3.7 billion, about one third to one half of the global population. Only 12 to 27% of the population in low income countries were fully covered that year. If current trends continue, only 39 to 63% of the global population will be covered by each service by 2013. The COVID-19 crisis is disrupting essential health services around the world. Some services have been suspended to free up resources for COVID-19 patients. Demand for some critical services has been reduced as patients seek to lighten the burden on hospitals. Okay. All right. Let's say rising out of pocket health expenses are reaching us unsustainable levels, pushing millions into extreme poverty. Achieving universal healthcare coverage remains a global challenge. The number of people incurring large out of pocket health expense has been increased and will likely continue to increase. Okay. The income loss due to COVID-19 lockdown will likely exacerbate the issue. Okay. Okay. So we can get all this. Okay. So what the UN is saying is that the targets are definitely going to be disrupted here. Okay. Yeah. They're also saying that the pandemic has spotlighted the shortage of medical personnel worldwide, as well as the heavy burden on women as nursing personnel. This is something, guys, let me tell you something about this. I was talking to a friend when the COVID 19 pandemic just broke out, and I told that friend that the only reason why we are kind of we were kind of struggling with this COVID 19 is because we don't have the numbers. You know, the COVID 19 is obviously a virus, but we obviously needed a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses, and other medical personnel to fight against this. Okay, so I know what they're talking about here. If we read more, you will actually come to see that the medical the health system is really being constrained. Okay. Okay, so now they are saying that the need for greater public health preparedness has never been clear. Okay, let me just spot check a bit. Okay, so the current experience with the COVID-19 has further highlighted the need for strengthening emergency preparedness as well as for rapidly scaling up response capacities and increasing multi-sectoral and international collaboration. Okay, so looking at this section, we can see that healthcare, okay, just reading through this, um, from 2000, from the year 2000 to 2018, there had been tremendous progress, although the target in 2030, they obviously had their own targets that the healthcare globally should be good. Okay, but although you could see that they were making steady increase. Now, what I have seen is that actually, because of the COVID-19, those decades of hard work, those decades of making progress can be reversed. That is what I'm seeing in this section. So it's not that progress wasn't made. And actually, you can see that from what I have seen, if you read the report again, and I'll try to read this report again, they have made substantial progress globally. Okay, they have significantly reduced maternal deaths, they've significantly reduced child deaths, but because of the COVID-19, this has created serious problems. And some of the learning points is that one, emergency preparedness to such pandemic needs to be done, needs to be strengthened. Okay. And secondly, we need to have the numbers. We need more medical personnel globally to fight pandemics, to manage pandemics like this. So in my own view, I talked about this to a friend some months ago. I strongly believe that many nations around the world should be promoting what we education in the medical field. They should have a lot of students doing medicine, a lot of students doing healthcare programs around the world. That is just my feeling, because this is not the last time we're going to have a pandemic like this. Okay, trust me on this one. But what is important, we need to prepare for the next pandemic. So, guys, I think it's something to think about. And actually, you know what? The funny thing is that you can still be a monitoring and evaluation officer and still be a medical doctor. I mean, they go hand in hand. So, M&D made simple will still be there, monitoring and evaluation will still be there. So, what's important is we need to learn from this COVID-19 pandemic and see how best to manage the next pandemic. Okay, so those were that was my feeling on this report. I want to know your thoughts. Write to me, leave a message in the description below. I've been your host, Coach Alexander. Until we meet again, see you on the other side. Bye.